probably gonna get saying some of the stuff, but I'm about to say, but I couldn't sit back and just not say anything anymore because this is just absolutely ridiculous. So go ahead, feel free to share this. I'm gonna just set this up so we can bring everybody else in. But I had to get on here, man. I had to talk about it. If you got a prayer request, go ahead, feel free to put it in the comments and just give me a second as I set this up, and we are going to go. And man, the church need to wake up. It's actually kind of just a little bit disheartening sometimes when you just see how the church is just kind of sleeping on this and how they're not connecting the dots. Now, I will say this at the very beginning. I'm not saying that anybody is like, perfect, or we should put our hope in no man. But I've always said for the last, 8 years, that the media is the biggest false prophet, right? We can't walk around and have the mind of what the media is telling us. Let me set this up now. Oh my goodness. So you guys know Joe Biden, went ahead and he put out these mandates. He's saying for, all businesses that got over 100 people, they've got to be vaccinated now. And so we're just going to talk about it real quick once I get this last piece set up right here. Just be patient with me. I'm just kind of irritated right now. Lord, give me wisdom in what I'm about to say. So if you haven't seen it, matter of fact, let's pull it up. I'm gonna let you guys just see this little clip from, let's see, recently. He just said it. Let me see if I can flip this camera real fast and show you guys something. It's on my actual Facebook page. Turn the volume up here. Facebook page. Here we go. Here we go. Let's play this real quick.
Let me be blunt. My plan also takes on elected officials in states that are undermining you in these life-saving actions. Right now, local school officials are trying to keep children safe in a pandemic while their governor picks a fight with them and even threatens their salaries or their jobs. Talk about bullying in schools. If they'll not help, if these governors won't help us beat the pandemic, I'll use my power as president to get them out of the way.
So right there, you see that. Now remember when he said this, Biden tells crowd, I don't care if you think I'm Satan reincarnated. All right, man. Let's talk about it. I want to be wise with how I say what I'm about to say. Number one, let's talk to the believers, all right? I'm going to try to be level-headed with this. How is it that you don't see that what they're pushing is very similar to the beast system in the book of Revelations? That's the first thing. How is it that people can't see that? That's what bothers me. It's so similar to what we see in the book of Revelations. It's ridiculous. You can't go anywhere. All right. If you don't have this, you can't buy, you can't sell, you can't go here. And little by little, all right, they seem to be going more in that direction. Now, I've been very clear since the beginning. If you read the Bible, okay, the jab is not the mark of the beast, because it says it's going to go in your hand or it's going to go on your forehead. But they did say at the Pentagon recently that they have created a chip that they want to put under our skin, and it will detect whether or not somebody has this, virus. That could possibly be something right there. But how is it that any believer is just so comfortable putting faith in just everything that they're telling you? Let's put it this way, hypothetically speaking. Let's say that, they are playing God in the labs, right? And they say, man, we created this disease and it's called foo-foo. And then we've actually come up with the cure for foo-foo. And the funny thing is, we're going to make money off of the cure for foo-foo. That's one way of looking at it. Or, we've seen people like Bill Gates talking about the world is overpopulated. And so I'm trying to play God and I'm trying to fix it, right? So let me come up with something in the lab called foo-foo. We'll release it to the world. And this is me playing God trying to, save the planet. If you know anything about how the military and the government works and things like that, there's levels to the knowledge that they put out. You got to be a certain rank and a certain clearance to have certain information. So whatever they're telling you, whatever they're pushing, is not the whole truth. That's just something to think about. So why is it that we're so quick to just bow down and just, act like these people got our best interests in mind? That's what bothers me. How is it that we got churches saying, hey, if you don't do what the government is saying, then you can't come worship with us? That's the opposite of what the Bible is saying. We used to say, oh man, bring your sick to the church, you know what I'm saying? And we're going to pray for them. Now we're saying, if you're sick, don't come to church. I remember people were always talking about the Illuminati and just all these different things, right? And, the government conspiracies, and even in the Black community, things that government were experimenting on Black people with vaccinations and things like that. And now it's just like, man, we just bow down and accept whatever they're saying. And here's the thing that bothers me: the censorship. Look at who they're censoring. You can't even ask questions anymore. They want to censor you. They want to ban you for asking legitimate questions, for having legitimate concerns. And then they tell you, oh, look, you don't need an ID to vote, but then they want you to walk around with a vaccination card that you got to show everybody. Doesn't make sense to me. If you want me to go into a restaurant and show my vaccination card to prove that I got some kind of jab or I don't have the COVID, then I want to see the card for the guy who's cooking my food and make sure he doesn't have HIV. And I want to see the manager, and I want to see the waiter. Everybody got to start showing cards. I want to make sure you don't have this disease and this. And here's the craziest thing about it: try to warn people. And like I said, maybe I got too in my feelings about it, too upset about it. I felt that, Trump was going to win because I said, man, how could anybody, vote for this agenda? And we tried to warn people, they didn't listen. And now look what you got. Look what you got now. This dude is literally what they were trying to tell you Trump was. When he came into office, he signed more executive orders than any president ever. He's literally what the media. How is it that people don't see this, right? I'm going to break this down. It's been a long time since I talked about it, but I'm going to break this thing down real quick. How is it that, for example, his son, Hunter Biden, all that stuff that was on his laptop and the news never ran at prime time. Let's just be real. Let's put all the fake aside and let's just keep it all the way 100 and be real quick. You want to talk about elites? You want to talk about corrupt systems? How is it that his son had all that stuff on the laptop and they didn't run it prime time? If that was Trump's son, it would have been prime time news every day, the same way they did Judge Kavanaugh. How is it that they subpoena Hillary Clinton? She smashes all her laptops, delete all these emails. Nobody cares. Nobody ever, the media is never trying to figure out, man, we got to find out what was in those emails. They never press the same way they're trying to see Trump's taxes. Think about it for a second. Like, how do people not see something is off with that? Why is the media protecting these people so much? Because money. Because they got these people in their back pocket because they're buddies with the people who own these networks. And that's not suspicious to you? Let's just keep it all the way 100. If Trump was what y'all say he was, then what happened to him wouldn't have happened to him. But Biden, man, they protect this man, they cover this man, they spin everything around trying to make this man look good. They ignore all kinds of stuff, and they did similar thing with people in the past, because if you line up with their agenda, then they're gonna protect you. Come on, man. Let me show y'all something. Now, this is my personal opinion. Let me say that clearly because I learned my lesson. Yes, the first election when I was in South Korea, I said God told me Trump was gonna win. I did say that. The second time around, I said, look, I believe Trump is the better pick for Christians when it comes to legislation. I ain't gonna dive into all of that. And I said, I feel like he's gonna win. All right, and he didn't win, right? But I want to be clear about this. This is my feelings. I'm not trying to prophesy or anything like this. Number one, this is what I believe. The first black president comes along. I believe this is no accident. And they had him push the LGBTQ agenda like crazy, right? First black president, he pushes the LGBTQ agenda. Why? Because they say, let's have the first black president push this. That way, anybody who says anything against him, all right, will say they're racist, right? Because it's the black president. So anybody trying to speak out against what President Obama's doing, and if you don't support him, we'll say you're racist, we'll say you're this or that. Guys, calm down over there. And then who did they have next in the battle box? Hillary Clinton. You're going to have the first black president push the LGBTQ agenda. Then you're going to have that first female president, that's what they wanted, come in and push all the feminist stuff, come in and push all the abortion stuff, really push that antichrist agenda, right? Because God has an order for humanity. So that first black president comes in, he pushes the antichrist agenda because that's not God's design. Then they're going to have the woman president come in and push that other feminist agenda and all that stuff, the abortions and all of that. And then what's the tactic behind that? Well, if you speak against her, you're one of those male chauvinists, all of that kind of stuff. So the same thing, defense that they use for the first black president, they were going to use for her. And then I guarantee you after that, they probably would have found some Latino or minority LGBTQ member to run for president. They had an agenda that they were trying to push. But for whatever reason, Trump decided, hey, I'm going to run for president. And this is what I believe God showed me. You don't have to believe it. You don't have to accept it. If you don't agree, just pray about it. So when Trump said he was going to run for president, I remember Barack Obama laughed. All the media was laughing. Nobody took him serious. Why? Because this dude is on the outside. He's trying to come in. There's no way in the world. He's just a joke. We're not taking him serious. What Bible story does that sound like? Nobody, they were literally laughing and mocking this man. I'm going to show you something. And a lot of you not going to like what I got to say. But then he turns around and he wins. And what happened? Their pride is hurt. All these people that were laughing and mocking and saying this dude never going to win, boom, Trump humbled them. Remember the night that he won? They're shocked, they're crying, they're screaming, and now it goes from shock and tears and hurt to, oh, we're going to throw everything we can at you because you messed up our agenda. We had the first black president push the LGBTQ. Then we're going to have that Hillary Clinton come in. Think about it. Hillary Clinton was like probably the most qualified, right? How they made her look on paper to run for president as a woman, right? Big name, everything like that. It was gift wrapped for her to be president. And so when they subpoenaed the emails, the media covered her. When they said, hey, this chick destroyed the emails, destroyed the phones, they didn't report it. They never pressed, hey, what was in those emails? With the same energy that they did to get Trump's taxes. Why is that? Just think about it. Just put all the fake and your agendas to the side and your hate for Trump to the side and think about that for a second. And so Trump wins and everybody's mad. He done humbled all of them. And so they say, you know what? We got to get this guy out of here because he bucked the system. Hillary Clinton was the one we had anointed. Hillary Clinton was the one that we appointed because we have an agenda that we're trying to push. And Trump comes in and tears the whole thing up. And here's a crazy side note. Bill Gates and the Clintons, very good friends. You know that it was even rumored that Bill Gates was going to run as her vice president? Just something to think about. Just something to think about. And look at Bill Gates. Why is everybody in the world listening to him about this stuff? Why is he on TED Talks like, what was it, I don't know what year it was a couple years ago, and he's talking about pandemics and how we're not prepared. Why is Dr. Fauci over there at Georgetown University when Trump was like still president long before this stuff happened, talking about, almost prophesying, hey man, this is going to happen during Trump's term? And then you think, oh man, I don't even know if I should be talking about all this right now. You think that and here's the other thing, Fauci, they had funds going to the Wuhan lab. He denied it. They brought it up. They showed the receipts. It's not on the news. They don't put it prime time on the news. Why? Wake up. That's not suspicious to you? That's not strange to you? That this man, literally, look it up, Dr. Fauci, Georgetown University, he's almost prophesying like, hey, this is going to happen down the road. And then he's connected to the lab where apparently it leaked from. Obama was sending money over there, but that's not weird. That's not strange. And so now what happens? Okay, Hillary Clinton held the L. What can we do? Who can we get to run against this man, Donald Trump? Because it looks like he has mega support. His rallies are packed. Well, the only person we can think, Obama already ran twice, Joe Biden. He's got a big name. Hillary Clinton already lost to this man. He embarrassed her on the, when they had the debates. He was cooking her up. And notice how Trump changed even the whole way they start debating. Trump made these people's true colors come out because he went in there raw. He went in there not like a politician. And he was just talking to them like regular people. And now you notice when these debates came around to run against Trump, they were talking to each other reckless, sounding more like Trump. Their true colors came out. And so they said, oh, what are we going to do? This man done messed up our whole plan. Just think. I can't say it on the video, right? But just think about what I'm saying. Clinton is friends with Bill Gates. Bill Gates is stressed, talking about population control and all this kind of stuff. And maybe he wants to play God. It's rumored that Bill Gates was going to be her vice president. At the very least, we know that the Bill Gates Foundation donates tons of money to the Clintons, and that Fauci is over there on the Bill Gates, Foundation, the website. He's connected to that. So is it too far to think, like I said at the beginning of the video, because we used to talk about this stuff all the time, especially in the Black community. These people are trying to play God, and they say they create a disease called foo-foo. And then the same people that created the disease come up with the cure for foo-foo. And they make money off of the cure for foo-foo. Or they're playing God, got a God complex, and they've solved the world's population control problems. Even if you don't believe anything that I'm saying in this video, think about this from a biblical perspective. The government is saying, hey, get this, you can't go here, you can't do this, you can't do this. And of course, they're not going to just go crazy with it overnight. They're going to continue to do it little by little by little, gain little ground by little ground, because Biden knows if he goes in there and he just gets straight crazy with it, it's going to be an issue. People are not going to just take it. He knows that. So to be slick, little by little, mandate this, strip this freedom, condition you, get used to it. Why is it that even from a science perspective, you can take religion out of it if you want to just talk intellectually from a science perspective? There's clear-cut issues and contradictions, but why am I not allowed to ask these questions without getting banned? Recovery rate over 96-something%. Why are you trying to force me to put something? What happened to my body, my choice? Why are you trying to force me to take something in my body when the recovery rate is over 96-something%? I understand the elderly. Why not put the precautions in for the elderly? Elderly, stay home if you don't feel good, if you don't feel well. If you don't feel well, don't go around the elderly because the recovery rate is high according to the CDC. Why all the propaganda? Why all the censorship? Let's be real. Some of it is political because I can tell you for the most part, if you tell me where you stand on this, I could probably tell you how you vote. Of course, there'll be a couple exemptions, but for the most part, yes. So a lot of people will sit there and I'm going to do the exact opposite of what this group is doing out of spite. And I'm going to do whatever this group is saying to do because loyalty. But even if you don't believe none of that, what I'm saying, you cannot deny that what they're pushing looks similar to the beast system that we see in the book of Revelations. There's no denying that. If you read Revelations, 13, and it talks about the systems that are going to be in play, it's like this is a warm-up. It's like this is a pregame. And what scares me is that churches are, instead of putting their faith in God, they're putting their faith in this. Why is that? Let's talk about that. Why is that? Because you want to get back to usual. Because church has been losing money since they've been closed down. Why is it, and I'm going to say this, I should have said this at the beginning of the video. If you look at, when I travel, right, most of the men of God that I meet, they're all saying the same exact thing, which is the same thing that I'm saying. It's like the Holy Spirit is giving them the same perspective. The only ones that I've seen who are not saying the same thing that we're saying is the entertainers, the musicians, the singers, the Christian singers, and then the big, like mega preachers. All the real kingdom soldiers that I know, and it's not about being from this political party or that political party, anything like that. All the men of God that I've been around, they're saying the same thing. That's what even gives me more confidence, because when I look at the group that agrees with what I'm saying, and then I look at the group that disagrees, the group that disagrees is nobody that I would want to follow in these end times. I'm talking about Christians. The pastors that I see pushing this stuff and pushing it for the church and saying, you can't come to church if you don't get it. It's not anybody that I would want to follow, knowing that these are the end times. So when I look at the men of God that they're like, hey, Brother Marcus, I see it the same way as you. It reassures me. I feel confident. I'd rather stand with these guys and be wrong. When I look at the other group, like I said, a lot of the singers, the musicians, the artists who are bound down to that agenda, I look at them and I say, man, y'all don't look like the ones I need to be following in these end times. I believe that we're seeing a separation, the wheat and the tares, the sheep and the goat. The Bible says, my sheep know my voice. I feel like many people can't hear the voice because they're too concerned about the dollars. And then a lot of people, they don't want to believe it's the end times. A lot of people, they don't want to believe. They're so busy with their plans and their agenda. They say, man, look, just give it to me so we can get back to things as you. It's not going to get back to church as usual. It's never going to be the same. Social media, everybody's got opinions. Everybody's being prophets nowadays. Everybody's got a word nowadays. There's too much out there. We've went way too far. It's never going to go back to how it used to be. If Trump comes back and he wins, I'm going to be very clear, because a lot of people was bashing me the last time. I'm saying these are my feelings, right? I saw, matter of fact, let me pull up this email today. I'm just going to do it. All right, I know I'm gonna get so much hate for everything that I'm saying right now and everything that I'm doing right now. But my wife got an email. She said, I don't know how I got this email, but watch this. It says, dear person, Donald Trump raised more than $100 million in the first half of 2021. His campaign is hiring campaign staff in key states. A top Trump advisor says the chances of him running are between 99% and 100%. And if he runs, polls show that he'll be a shoe-in for the GOP nomination. No surprise. Meanwhile, Joe Biden's approval ratings have fallen sharply and are only a couple points better than Hillary Clinton's were on Election Day 2016. This is a liberal email. Y'all need to share this video real quick because they might take it down. Most frightening, this is what they say, of all, is a new poll showing Trump leading Biden 47 to 46% as a hypothetical rematch in 2024. We are facing the very real threat of Donald Trump regaining the presidency. And if we don't take that threat seriously, then Trump will sit in the Oval Office again. It will be hell for all of us, but people of color and other marginalized by our society will be hit hardest. This is the email that they sent to my wife today. To make sure we're ready to defeat the Republicans in the midterms and Trump in 2024, we are running an intensive series of voter contact experiments to develop the most effective new tactics to persuade undecided voters and turn out Democratic voters. Will you chip in $5 a month? The first time that Trump won, like I said in the beginning, nobody took him serious. They were laughing, they were mocking. He'll never be president. Then he won and he humbled all of them and he made them cry. And then they went from crying to being mad. We got to get him because our pride is hurt. We got to use the media. We got to use everything we can to get him out. Guess what? I'm going to say this again. And people are going to make YouTube videos because they're not going to listen to me. But I'm going to do better this time. I'm going to say it clearly. I will not be surprised if Trump gets in office again. All right? For several reasons. I do believe to this day, and I prayed about it, that there was corruption in the election. And I believe anybody who believes that Joe Biden beat Trump fair and square is off their rocker. All right? I believe that God is in control and he allowed Joe Biden to get in, hopefully so people can wake up. When Trump won the first time, this is what the Lord had showed me. He said, this is going to be a season of grace for the church to prepare. And I said this in several videos. I said that the Lord showed me, like with King Cyrus, right? Isaiah 45, I believe it was, and all that kind of stuff, that Trump was a form of a King Cyrus. And that the Lord told me if we build it in the season, he was going to bless it. So I started building. And God has blessed it. And I kept telling people, this is the season to build. And now we are in this season where it just looks like, man, it's impossible. It's hard, to do just even anything. There's so much resistance. And I was praying to the Lord. I said, Lord, are you going to is this just what it's going to be? Is it going to just be this way forever? Or are we going to get another season of grace? Now, season of grace, what does that mean? Well, when Trump was in, they weren't forcing this on us. Whether some say, well, he was going to force it. They weren't forcing this stuff on us. And now Biden is in. People are getting exactly what they wanted. And we're seeing the truth come out. We're seeing all this time, people don't believe what they preach. People don't believe what they sing. And people are so quick to just getting back to getting the money, like in churches. Go ahead, hit me up. Hit me up so we can get back to usual. I know I'm gonna make some of you mad, but this is just me being real with you, okay? And I knew I was gonna make people mad doing this. Every real man of God that I know, black, white, Hispanic, Latino, they are all saying the same thing. It doesn't matter if I go from the East Coast to the West Coast in California, they're all saying the same thing about this thing. All the ones that I see who claim to be Christians who are saying the opposite, a lot of them are feminine type men. And if they're not, they're some kind of Christian celebrity, music artists, or very big preachers. So then the question is, are you bowing down because you're trying to get back to getting your money? Let me ask you this. This is just something I try to get people to think. And I'm trying to say all of this in wisdom. I am not saying that one party is more righteous or holy than the other. There's corruption, there's evil everywhere, and God is always in control. But what I will ask you to do is be real with yourself, take all your feelings to the side, and pray about this. If I had a scale in front of me, right? I'm gonna just use this. I open it up, there's two sides, right? If I had this as a scale and I said, I'm going to look at every piece of legislation that each party is pushing, and for every piece of legislation that is anti-Christ, meaning it goes against Christianity, I'm going to drop it on that side. Which side do you think would be more for? If you be real with yourself. I'm not talking about hypotheticals. I'm not talking about feelings. I'm not talking about, oh, he tweeted something and it made me mad, because people can interpret those tweets a lot of different ways. I'm talking about legislation, laws that are being passed that they expect you to bow down to. Which side is pushing more of an anti-Christ agenda? If you be real with yourself. So this is what I always do. A lot of people say Republicans and that party is racist, right? So I say, look, I won't argue with you. If you want to say they struggle with racism, boom, let's put that one on that side. But then when we start talking about abortions, when we start talking about the LGBTQ, when we start talking about this B system, when we start talking about the indoctrination, the things that they're teaching in schools, when we start talking about all these different things, it starts getting really heavy on this side. Now, this is my personal opinion. I make a lot of people mad. Any Christian that is pushing and voting for the people that are persecuting, us through legislation, because we're not really getting persecuted, but I've always said persecution is going to come through legislation. It's not going to be like it is in other countries, because America is too politically correct for that. Biden, through the speech that he did today, he's showing you how he really feels, right? But they know that they can't just come out guns blazing, because Americans are not going to just take that line down. But knowing what you know now, in retrospect, or hindsight, as some would say, and then seeing everything that is going on and listening to everything that I'm saying, I just don't see how Christians can support that. I'll say this, just don't vote at all. Just don't vote at all. But don't vote for the people that are pushing the abortions and the LGBTQ agenda in the schools and the indoctrination. Because let's put it this way. It's the liberal party, right? Liberal, anything goes. Just let people do what they want to do. Let them love who they want to love. We're liberal. We're free. There's no rule. Conservatives, even though not perfect, there's more of a, look, we're not going to cross this line. Does that mean they're perfect? No, but at least there's a line there. The way I like to put it is like this. Say you're in a car, right? And you sit in the car and the two back doors are open. There's flaws, there's issues. People can come in the car, they can mess with you, right? There's those two access points. That's like the conservatives. But then the liberal side, there ain't even no doors on the car. It's just wide open. Anything goes. Anybody can come for the ride. Anybody can grab the steering wheel. Just it's wide open. Which one is worse for believers? But like I said, if you don't want to listen to anything that I'm saying in this video right now, and you don't believe anything that I'm saying in this video, just go read the book of Revelations. And there's no way, I don't see how anybody can read the Bible and be like, oh, the Bible is fake. After what we're seeing right now, how could anybody read the Bible and be like, it's not the truth? It's like literally everything that the Bible said is coming true right now. Everything. Everything. Even if you don't agree about the little details of what we're talking about, there's no denying that we're on the train going in that direction. And the problem is some people don't want to believe that. So I'm not one of those people who are just, worshiping any individual or all that MAGA hat stuff. That's not me. I just said, like I try to warn people, I said, look, man, I believe that Trump is the better choice for believers. But a lot of people put culture over kingdom. If you put the kingdom first, right? Because a lot of people they say, well, nah, I'm a vote Democrat because black people have been oppressed, and the Democrats, that we're black people, we're loyal to just vote. We're supposed to vote Democrat. If not, you get shunned, right? But why? The worst places for black people to live where we're doing bad is all Democrat controlled and ran cities, and they've been that way for years. These are facts. So I put the kingdom first. People say, Brother Marcus, why do you talk about this stuff? What do you mean? People still don't believe we're living in the end times. They're literally with the mask and everything, very similar system to what we see in Revelations. And people still in the church, I'm not even talking about the world, people in the church don't believe we're living in the end times. That's why we talk about it. This message ain't for the people who already know. Some people say, why are you preaching this? Why are you talking about this? Message ain't for you. It's for the people watching and saying, man, I never thought about it like that. Man, I need to get a serious prayer life. Man, I need to start fasting. Man, casual Christians are going to be casualties. Man, the Bible says there's going to be a strong delusion. I've never thought about it like that before, Brother Marcus. I didn't really see it like that until you said it. That's who this is for. It's for those of you, this piece of God, I don't understand why. It's not for you. Everything ain't about you. Everybody's not on the same level. So here's the thing with this, right? Another reason. Well, why did you want to support Trump? Why did you want him to win? I'm gonna be real with y'all. Now, some of y'all are gonna be mad about this. I know you're gonna be mad. I've never voted in my life. Never. Why? Because the Bible says God raises up kings and he tears them down. Whoever's supposed to be in office is gonna be the one who be in office. Now, if you feel led to vote, you go vote. Personally, when I was in South Korea, I was supporting Ted Cruz and what was the other guy's name? Ben Carson. But then God just told me Trump was going to win. I started telling people, I said, man, God told me Trump was going to win, and this is why he's going to win, to expose a lot of stuff. And a lot of things did get exposed. A lot of agendas did get exposed. And then when you looked at it, from a realistic point of view, the only one who had a chance at beating Hillary Clinton, before it was Trump and Hillary Clinton, I told everybody it's going to be Trump and Hillary. Why is it going to be Trump and Hillary? Because they're the biggest name. That's how basic people are. That's how basic human beings are. They're going to see the name Trump and they're going to see the name Clinton and they're going to really forget about everybody else. Now you're going to have a couple people. They're gonna see Ben Carson, and I don't even remember who was running on the Bernie Sanders and them. But there was no way in the world Bernie Sanders was about to beat Hillary Clinton. Who was the other one that was running? Bernie Sanders. Goodness, it was somebody else. But none of them was going to beat Hillary Clinton. And so it was the same thing from the other side. It's the same thing going into 2024. You've heard the email that I just read. There's no conservative that will be able to beat Trump. If Trump runs, he's gonna get the nomination. The only thing that probably would happen is if he runs with the dude from Florida, the governor from Florida, as his vice president. What is his name? DeSantis, something like that. They're gonna get the Republican to impeach him. They tried so hard. They did all of that stuff. And think about it. Not only all the stuff that they did to Trump, but all the stuff they did to protect and cover for Biden and Clinton. Cover their mess, cover their dirt. And they still couldn't impeach him. And he still has the ability to run again in 2024. Don't think that it's no big deal when somebody becomes president. God allows, the Bible says, God raises up kings, he tears them down. God allows whoever to be in office for a reason. He allowed Obama to be president for a reason. That's just facts. God allowed that to happen. And what happened? He came in there and he pushed that LGBTQ agenda. God knew that was going to happen. The Bible says these things were going to happen. And that's what it is. I'm going to put this in here for you guys. Oh, man. I want to read that email one more time because maybe some of you didn't get it. Just putting this in there. So if you've already been watching for a little while, you can exit out if you want. I just feel like I should read this email for those of you who just came in. So we were talking about Biden and everything that he came out and said they're forcing this thing, trying to force this thing on people. A lot of believers are discouraged. You know, like I said, it's not, the jab is not the mark. It's not. But, man, the system behind it is very similar to what we see in Revelations. Okay, here's the email. I want to read this one more time if you didn't hear it already. So this is some liberal group. They sent this email to my wife today. I told her to forward it to me. It says, "Dear person, Donald Trump raised more than $100 million in the first half of 2021. His campaign is hiring campaign staff in key states. A top Trump advisor said the chances of him running are between 99 and 100%. And if he runs, polls show that he'll be a shoo-in for the GOP nomination." We already know that. I said that already. Nobody's beating Trump if he runs again. He's got this, on lock as far as the GOP. Meanwhile, Joe Biden's approval ratings have fallen sharply and are only a couple points better than Hillary Clinton's were on Election Day 2016. And this is what it says right here. Most frightening of all is a new poll Trump leading Biden 47 to 46% and a hypothetical 24. I believe the numbers are way bigger than that. I believe the media is a big liar. Every time they said Hillary Clinton was going to win, they said it was a guarantee she was going to win, whatever. They said we are facing the very real threat of Donald Trump regaining the presidency. And if we don't take that threat seriously, then Trump will sit in the Oval Office again. It will be hell for all of us, but people of color and other marginalized by our society will be hit hardest. To make sure we're ready to defeat the Republicans in the midterm and Trump in 2024, we are running an intensive series of voter contact experiments to develop the most effective tactics to persuade the undecided voters and turn out Democratic voters. Will you chip in $5 a month? These people going hard, man. I saw this thing with my children, right? So my wife tried to take the children to the doctor. Similar thing that happened with Candace Owens. And so my wife was taking the children to get the religious exemption forms for vaccinations. So she gets there and the doctors say, "Oh, well, we're not going to accept, your insurance." Then they say, "Oh, okay, well, because we didn't warn you before you came and we booked the appointment, we're going to take you." So she goes there and then, she says, "Hey, I'm here for a religious exemption form." The doctor says, "Hey, I'm not going to do the religious exemption form unless it's a religious figure or something." So my wife tells him, "Oh, no, it's cool. My husband is a pastor." Clearly, he wasn't expecting that. And so he says, "Well, no, I just don't do those." I'm pretty sure you can figure out how he votes and how he thinks. So let me tell you something. Anybody who's telling you just preach the gospel, they have no idea what they're talking about. Paul didn't even just preach the gospel. Go read the letters. The gospel, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, and we got a whole bunch of other books after that. The prophets in the Bible warned about the Assyrians, warned about the Babylonians, warned about the Philistines, warned about wicked kings. So don't listen to those kind of people. They don't know what they're talking about. That's the problem. We've had people like that representing the kingdom for so long. Don't talk about this. Don't talk about that. Just bow down. Just don't answer no questions. Just preach the gospel. That it doesn't even make sense. Paul says, "Look, you guys have baby milk. I've been wanting to give you meat and you can't handle it." That's the people who say just preach the gospel. They're baby milk Christians. They don't understand the deepness of what's going on. They don't understand the Bible because they just stuck on the gospel. They just stuck on the baby milk. Man, let's just pray, guys. That's it. It's all we can do, because at the end of the day, I want to say this. God is in control, period. He's in control, period. And he says all things are working together for our good. So it might not look pretty, it looks ugly, but God is in control. And in the end, we win. And so God allowed us to be here at this time. He'll give us the strength. He'll give us the grace. He'll give us the power that we need, to go forward and to navigate this. But the key is we just got to stay in his presence. We got to stay on our face. If you don't agree with nothing I said, that's fine. Just pray about it. But notice we're living in the end times. And you better get right with God. Casual Christians will be casualties. Now it's not the time to play around. In America, we have been so complacent and comfortable with our Christianity for so long. And God has allowed there to be a shaking so there can be a great awakening. There's been a great shaking, a great awakening. It's time to stand up. It's time to get a serious prayer life. It's time to fast. It's time to seek God like never before. It's time to take up the cross. A lot of Christians in America, we had a cross tattoo, we had a cross necklace, but we ain't been actually carrying our cross. Look at the evil that is rising in this world. Look at all this stuff. It's just like we're living in Sodom and Gomorrah. These folks are bold. Look at Lil Nas X sliding down into hell on a stripper pole. Dancing in that last video butt naked. And the world got no issue with that. I won't be surprised if they try to take this video down, but they'll leave those other videos up. How's that not? I didn't say nothing terrible in this video. I might have said some things that people didn't agree with. But how is it that you can leave those videos up, but this is an issue? I'll say this. When you put the kingdom first and you really believe that God is the source of your resources, then you can understand the things that I'm saying. I know that we can't stop everything that is coming, but we don't have to support it. We don't have to vote for it. We don't have to put our weight behind it. So a lot of people sit there and they say, well, this party don't support this and this and this. Yeah, but what are they trying to push on you is the question. What kind of anti-God agenda are they trying to push on you? If God is the source of my resources, I'm not looking for the Democrats or the Republicans, take care of the black people, take care of the minorities, take care of this one, fix that. That God takes care of me. If you really believe that, then you'll be able to understand what I'm saying. But if your mind is on putting culture over kingdom or feelings over kingdom or whatever it is, fame over kingdom, money over kingdom, you're not going to understand what I'm saying. Hey guys, if you want to help me, the word that God has just given me is just to try to get land. All the kingdom men that I know, everywhere I travel, they're doing the same thing. I'm close. It doesn't look like I'm going to get a loan, but the price that they're asking for that building, it's not bad. If you haven't seen it yet, there's the building. All right. I did a video where we did the walk-in. We did the tour. All right. We're trying to open our own school. We're going to turn the gym into the sanctuary. As many of you know, I have a church in Chicago, but we have been renting and they have been abusing us. They've been taking advantage. It's expensive, so pray about it. If you don't want to support, or you're nervous about supporting that, just go stream the music or just go buy the book, Through the Fire to Be on Fire, on Amazon. And pretty much all that resources is going to go to get this building either way. All right, so love you guys. Be blessed. Be encouraged. Don't be discouraged. At the end of the day, God is in control. Share this video. I never ask people to share the videos, but share this video as much as possible. Maybe they'll take it down. I don't know. But I love you guys. Don't be afraid, man. God is in control, period. That's just the bottom line, all right? Have a wonderful evening. In Jesus' name, I'm about to go watch this football game.